will be making polenta with sun-dried tomatoes and olives. To begin, we're going to put some olive oil into a pan. Heat that up, and then we'll add in some minced garlic. While that's warming, I'm going to begin to chop up just a little bit of fresh rosemary. An easy way to take these spines off here is just to pull in the opposite direction from which they grow. And then we'll just chop that down. All right, so our oil in the pan is hot. So this, I will add some garlic. I'll save a little bit of that garlic for the little tapenade that we're going to be making later. Once that becomes fragrant, I'm going to add in the fresh rosemary and some water. I'll add about half my water and let that come up to a boil, and I'm going to take the rest and add that here to my polenta. I'm going to give this a little mix just to hydrate it a little more before I add it to the boiling water. Just helps to prevent some of the lumps. All right, so once that water has come to a boil, we're going to begin to add the polenta. And I want to stir this rapidly, again, to prevent lumps from forming. This will need to cook for about 5 minutes. Continually stir your polenta to make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom. And you'll notice as you're stirring that it does begin to get thicker as this polenta begins to absorb the water. As this polenta begins to boil, it will also start to spatter a little bit, so be careful as you are working over your pot, but do continue to stir. And you can adjust the heat a little bit and turn it down just a bit while this finishes thickening up. So as that polenta finishes just these final moments, you can go ahead and turn the heat off and prepare our pan. So we've taken a loaf pan and we've added some parchment paper. We're going to spray the parchment paper with a little bit of vegetable spray. We'll now add the polenta. Smooth out the top as much as you can. And then we're gonna let that polenta cool down to room temperature. Once it's at room temperature, we can go ahead and cover it with some plastic wrap and put it into the refrigerator. Our polenta has been in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. Now it's time to remove it from our pan. I'm gonna take it out, just flip it over. We'll now slice this into whatever, you can really do whatever size piece you want. You could do it as squares, you could do it as triangles. Today I'm going to cut it into just some nice squares. Once we've done that, we'll place them on a baking sheet. And set them in the oven to broil for about 8 to 10 minutes. While those are crisping up, we'll make the little tapenade that will be the garnish for this dish. Very simple. The remaining garlic that we didn't use in the polenta, some wonderful Turkish olives. We have assortment of black and green olives, some sun-dried tomato, a little bit of red wine vinegar, and just a pinch of pepper. And that's all there is to the tapenade that will accompany the polenta. We'll just wait for it to crisp up. Our polenta has been in the oven for about 8 minutes. Let's give it a check. Oh, that's beginning to look nice. We're just getting a little bit of brown, golden crispiness on the top of our polenta squares. So we'll let that cool just a couple of minutes. And to just brighten up the tapenade, we're gonna add a bit of fresh basil. Just a couple of leaves. So we have our tapenade ingredients over here ready to go. And we'll just take 3 of our polenta squares. And there you have crispy polenta with sun-dried tomato and olive tapenade.